What's up, you guys? I'm here to tell you another spooky, scary story. And it is a little spooky for me because I'm out in a creepy cabin by myself. And needless to say, I kind of be looking over my shoulder every now and then. So here we go. So around 2017, I was moving from one part of Atlanta to North Druid Hills part of Atlanta. And so once I got there, I was going to look at a place for rent that I had found online. It was a room for rent in this lady's house. She was a little much older than me. She could have been my mom, but needless to say, she was pretty cool, pretty chill. So when I got there, she showed me the room for rent and everything, which was, I came in, I went upstairs to this room for rent. I had my own bathroom, had my own room. And also had my own garage space. Well, she wasn't asking that much for rent, and I thought, that's a little odd considering this is Atlanta, and, most places are asking at least like $800 or more for a room for rent. Well, this room for rent was around $450 a month, right? Well, I wasn't really asking too many questions because I was like, man, I found a gold mine. It was in a great neighborhood, XYZ. So as I continue to talk to her, we come back downstairs to the kitchen, and in the kitchen, I'm sitting across from her. There's an island area between us. And as I'm talking to her, she's explaining, her past, and whatnot, and what she was expecting going forward. So, again, I was just like, wow, this sounds too good to be true, but, I'm gonna hop on it because it worked out for me, because I was like, yo, I'm trying to save some money. So as I'm talking to this lady, we'll call her Miss V. So I was sitting across from the island from her in the kitchen, and I don't know if you've listened to any of the prior stories I've posted on YouTube, but I guess you could call it clairvoyance. I also have, I don't know, as a young child, I've been able to see spirits, see ghosts, XYZ. Well, I had not seen something in a long time, but as I'm talking to Miss V, like I said, I'm on this side of the island. She's in front of me. And while she's talking to me about everything and explaining what's fixing to go down, I see this big whoosh of like black sand. It looked like someone had picked up a scoop of black sand and threw it up behind her. And it was like whoosh, this big black sand. I wouldn't call it really a figure, although it was like a whoosh of a black figure. So all of a sudden I'm talking to Miss V, and I saw this big whoosh right behind her, and I was immediately shell-shocked. Like, I was stuck for a minute, and I thought, this is mighty interesting. And I was kind of like in a hurry to get this contract signed, and I wanted to get in this place because where I was staying at was like $1,400 a month. And I was like, dude, if I could half that, like, think about the money I could save, you know what I mean? So as I see the big whoosh of black sand, it hits me almost immediately. And I was like, something's funny. Something kind of funny. And so later on, I would say she did not disclose to me at that time what had happened in her home. It was several weeks after I moved in. She then explains to me that her prior roommate, so then she discloses weeks later that her roommate, a couple of years ago, had actually passed away in the kitchen that we were sitting in, and he had died of a heart attack. So immediately when she told me that, I knew immediately that that's what I saw in the kitchen. Immediately, I knew what I saw in the kitchen was maybe his spirit, something along those lines. And I was like, dude, that's crazy, because now I'm sharing this space with this Miss V, and not only am I sharing, you know, the kitchen area where he just passed away, I'm actually sleeping in the room that he was renting with her prior to me. So once she told me that, I was just, I wasn't really scared. It wasn't a bad or scary feeling. It was that of kind of almost confirmation, because I knew what I had seen in that kitchen was what I saw of what it was, you know. So and then going forward, though, that's a whole nother story. I'll try to do another story about that later on, but that was one of my more recent experiences with a ghost story. And it was, dude, I will say it was pretty, I don't know, it was just kind of like, holy crap, I'm still tuned in, tapped in to this, to the knowing of the spirit realm. And so that is, I guess, the conclusion of this ghost story, but I will make another video about it because, oh my God. What I did experience was, so like I said, I will maybe make another video about what followed up living there, and what she and I eventually went through and whatnot. Because yeah, it definitely was something that something that I kind of wasn't really like all the way prepared for. But however, I definitely had to I had to just like trust my intuition and trust my gut and be okay with. and basically become friends with this spirit. And I feel like eventually I did kind of help him move on from that house. So yeah, I'll try to make another video about that. But until then, thanks for listening to my quick ghost story. Again, these are real ghost stories that I have personally experienced. I am definitely in tune with the spirit realm. I have visions of things since then, and looking forward to sharing more stories and experiences with you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe, hit the subscribe button, please, 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 and hit the like. All those things, I definitely appreciate it. Y'all have a good night. Have a good weekend. Stay blessed. Keep prayed up also.